Welcome back. You're watching ET Inside. As far as ambitious government programs go, the proposed direct cash subsidy system ranks right at the top. After all, it hopes to revamp India's rotten subsidy system, a system that has been around for decades and is rife with deeply entrenched vested interests. When you consider that, change of any sort seems like an impossible job. But the government is ready to meet the challenge head-on, pinning its hopes on the path-breaking UID project. So how will that work? Well, ET Now's Supriya Srinath caught up with R.S. Sharma, Mission Director of the project, and began by asking him how far the project has made progress.
As of now, we have about 5 crore enrollments, 2 crores Aadhars, and we are doing 500,000 per day. From October onwards, as the Finance Minister has announced in the budget speech, we will be doing enrollments at the rate of 1 million per day.
What are some of the challenges that you're meeting right now?
The world has done this before, but not at the scale at which we are doing. So in some sense, there are huge scalability issues.
That's right.
There are, we are chartering new areas and new frontiers of technology. So these are some of the challenges at the back end. And at the front end, I said this is another one. Then other challenges are actually the quality of fingerprints of people, especially people who are, who do manual labor. Their fingerprints are
not as great,
not as good, and therefore that is another challenge which we have, and we are trying to sort of fine-tune our systems to capture as much as possible. But nevertheless, there will certainly be exceptions even after we have tried all the methods.
To use it for something like, say, a fertilizer or a fuel subsidy, do you think this is going to be the big driver for targeting the fuel and the fertilizer subsidy better?
There is a task force chaired by Mr. Nandan Lekani, our chairman. I'm a member of that task force, and that task force has deliberated on the issue of subsidy issues, management of subsidy in the area of kerosene, LPG and fertilizers. And there are certain, the task force has submitted the interim report to the Finance Minister on 5th of July.
That's right.
And now we are going to do some pilots. So essentially these pilots are aiming at how you can enable this transfer of subsidy directly, in case of LPG for example, into the people's account. So when the cylinder gets delivered, exactly at the same time, the person's subsidy amount, the person pays full price for the LPG cylinder,
but gets refunded.
But the amount of subsidy gets refunded. So this is a kind of pilot or proof of concept which we are proposing to do, and there we will be able to test the efficacy of this particular system.
One of the big challenges, I think, will be the banking penetration in the country.
Right.
It's not to the tune where everybody will be able to access a bank branch. Is that one of your big challenges as well, and how do you intend to overcome this?
You're very right. You're very right. Actually, unless this is a platform, and unless there are cars running on this platform, this platform will be of no use. So certainly this whole delivery infrastructure is contingent not only upon Aadhaar as an enabler, it's also dependent on the penetration of the banking system. The business correspondent system will enable delivery of financial services, which is basically withdrawals and deposits and balance inquiries in the rural areas, despite the fact that only 5% of the rural villages are covered by banking system. And now there is a framework which enables people to do banking without the banking brick and mortar structure being there.
Yes.
Now that will hopefully sort of fuel a kind of transformation in the banking scenario in the rural areas. We also feel that if the money which the government pays to the people by way of social assistance, pensions, scholarships, Narega wages and all those, if that money does get transmitted to the people through Aadhaar enabled accounts, these accounts will also become viable in some sense.
How do you think this is going to go going forward? Do you think this is going to be a big enabler in the whole direct subsidy regime?
Essentially, it again like a road network. It creates an infrastructure which enables, on the one hand, the governments to transfer money to people's account directly, and on the other, enable people to withdraw and do the banking transactions at their village level. So essentially, it's an infrastructure, an enabling infrastructure. Now it's a different issue as
what
to
is this going to be used for?
What it could be used for, and of course the issue of direct subsidy transfer, etc. These are policy issues which are certainly beyond my kind of domain.
Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of ET Inside. We'll be back next week, but until then, don't forget to write in with your feedback and suggestions. Thanks so much for watching.